Yeah, I really appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Just to let you know real quick, I'm not here to give you an inspirational speech. I like getting things done. That's what I'm about. So let me break it down for you. First and foremost, I am a Christian. Secondly, I'm an American. Now, you notice when I said I was a Christian, I didn't say I was a Baptist, because I don't serve the Baptists, I serve God.
That's right.
When I said I was an American, I didn't say I was a Republican, because I don't serve the Republicans, I serve America. That is my job, and that's what I'm here to tell you, that is your job. As Americans, you need to serve America. Too many times, we get bogged down in labels and distracted by these labels, that we don't do what's right, that we, follow party line. And that's what the Tea Parties are here, is to break that party line. We need to vote people in that are actually going to represent us as Americans. So this is an American movement. This is not a conservative movement. This is not a right-wing movement, a left movement. This is an American movement because this is your responsibility as American citizens to hold the politicians accountable. That is your responsibility. And you guys have all failed. I've failed. Like I said, I don't talk about inspirational things. I break it down like I see it. It's black and white. We have failed. That's why we're here where we're at right now. That's why you guys have showed up today, because you've realized that, and you're actually showing up to do something, and I thank you for. But when you go home tonight, don't feel good about yourselves for standing here. Do something. That's going to be kind of like a church revival. When your pastor says, hey, listen, next week we're going to have a church revival, invite your neighbor, invite your friend. Well, that's what I'm telling you have to do. You got to get out there and talk to your friends. Don't be ashamed of it. Say, listen, this is our country, and you deserve, it is your responsibility to do something, to say something, to be involved. Now, for examples, if the Republicans get back control 2010, do you think you're done? Thank God, because you're not going to be done. This is something that's got to continue on as far as the Tea Party movement, and it can be called something else in 5 years, 10 years, I really don't care, but it is the American people's responsibility to hold their elected officials accountable. Now, you can tell they don't like it. They're not used to people questioning them. I questioned Barack Obama. They dug into my past. They dug into my present. They're going to dig into my future. They're going to make up all kinds of things about me, but it's not going to keep me from stopping, speaking out, speaking the truth. There's 4 things I like to talk about. One is accountability, which I've already said a couple times. I'm going to keep saying it because it needs to be repeated constantly. The other is responsibility. A lot of people don't like taking responsibility for their actions. They like to blame other people, pass the buck. I tell you what, right now, a real leader doesn't blame what's happened in the past. He moves forward. Education. I tell you what, you cannot throw money at education. It does not work. Ever. And then the Constitution, and I'll talk about those things here in a second. I want to share something with you. This is kind of personal. This is a letter my son wrote me a couple months after this whole Joe the Plumber thing happened. Now, I'm not bragging, because this is one hell of a letter I got from my son. I'm very, very proud of it. And there's a reason why I read this to you, and I'll ask you afterwards. My boy, now he wrote this when he was 13. He says, the last 2 months have been some of the hardest and craziest of your life. I have had the time to reflect and admire how great of a person you are, how great of a dad you are, and also how great of an American you are. I am and will forever be proud of you. To be able to be your son is one of the greatest blessings God has given me. On your birthday, we won't be celebrating the day you were Joe the Plumber. We'll be celebrating the day God put you on this earth to be a brother, a son, an uncle, a mentor, and a dang good political person, and best of all, you're my dad. I tell you what, all parents should get a letter like that. It makes me more happy than anything in the world. Obviously, here's my question. What is important to you? You can see by me, my son's important to me. It took me 9 pride-swallowing years to get custody of my boy, and by the grace of God, it happened. That's what's important to me, and that's most important to me this very second. Not becoming Joe the Plumber, not becoming famous, because to be honest, all that stuff is trivial. My son's love is the most important thing to me. So, what is important to you? Is it God? Is it America? And here's is it be able to smoke where you want to smoke? You know, just there's certain rights that are taken away that people have taken for granted for so long. Now, you might not be smokers, some of you are, some of you aren't, but ultimately, that's my right as an American. So, is it be able to drive a big old Ford pickup truck, 4x4, and pollute carbon everywhere? I tell you what's important to me is freedom. That is what's important to me. Now, what does freedom mean to you? Think about that for a second. Don't answer me right now. I'll tell you my answer. Freedom to me means a responsibility. That's what freedom to me means. It doesn't mean, oh, I get to go do whatever I want to do. It means it's a responsibility, and I take it damn seriously. That's what us as Americans have to do, because we haven't done it for a very long time. Like I said, I'm not going to inspire you guys. I'm going to yell at you. Now, my son wrote me this letter, and I tell you what, one of the most important things to me in my life is my boy, and that's why I'm here. It's not to be famous, it's not to be writing autographs and all this other stuff. It's because I want him to have the same opportunities I've had as an American all my life. I'll break this down a little bit more for you real quick. President and Congress likes to talk about our economy. They like to talk about the stimulus package. They like to talk about global warming. They like to talk about racism in America. You know what all those issues are? Those are political tools. That's what they are. They are political tools. And they use them. They manipulate us. Republicans, Democrats, you know, you can't blame them, really. I mean, a snake is a snake, right? Politicians are politicians, so you can't blame them for what they're doing. They're born to manipulate us. They're born to take advantage of us. They're born to ride that gravy train. That becomes our responsibility as Americans not to let them. That's all it is. It's common sense. You know, for example, I go to someone's house, charge them $90, $100 to fix a faucet. A couple days later, it leaks again. Honestly, I'm not perfect. That being said, that wife or husband will be on the phone for weeks trying to get me to come back to their house, and they have every right. Now, when I finally do show up, I can't charge them again. I want to. No, I can't charge them again. That means I got to do the job right. Now, our politicians, they constantly charge us. They reach in their back pocket. They take our money. They've spent trillions of dollars. Where is your anger? That's $100, and that lady or man's getting mad at me because I ain't getting back to their house. They're spending our children's money, and we need to get angry. We need to get involved. Not slanderous. Angry's one thing. Not slanderous. Talk about the facts. That's what it comes down to. If you talk about the facts, we will win. Bottom line. One last thing in closing here. You ever hear it's not my job? Everyone's guilty of saying it, right? As soon as the health came around, I said, hey, it's not my job. But you know what? It is your job. As Americans, it is your job in the community to take care of each other, to help each other. It is your job. It's not the federal government's job, but it is your job. So as Americans, remember, responsibility, accountability, education, and the Constitution. With those four things, we cannot go wrong. Thank you very much for showing up. Last thing I want to say is respect all your military members because they put their lives on the line for you always. Thank you very much. God bless.